So I now want to look at data accessibility and how do you actually make that data available. So what are the reasons why do we share data? So we need to share data, first of all. It reinforces open scientific inquiry. Obviously, if you're sharing your data, other people can look at it and analyze it, and comment on it, and use that, maybe reuse that data. It encourages a diversity of analysis and opinion, promotes new research. It makes possible the testing of newer alternative hypotheses, maybe things that you haven't thought about that other researchers will think about. Supports studies on data collection methods and measurements. Facilitates education for new researchers. Enables exploration of topics not envisaged by the initial investigators. And it permits the creation of new data sets. So your data that you're collecting might be for a very small area, but when you combine it with data from that other people have collected on similar areas or similar parameters or whatever, that becomes a much more important data set and a much more valuable data set than your small data set. So by sharing, you allow this amalgamation and joining of other data sets. So open access to research data from public funding should be easy, timely, user-friendly, and preferably internet-based. So the benefits are, first of all, the data is secure from loss or unauthorized access. It should be easily accessible using standard file formats. Should be organized and documented. Using metadata will allow for discovery and reuse of the data. So one way of making your data available is to put it into a repository or a data portal, which provides a single point of access to a wide range of data. So a portal allows you to be able to search, explore, link, download, and reuse data. And this should be for either commercial or non-commercial purposes. And it's usually done through a catalog, which is a metadata catalog. There's a number of government open data portals where they provide data, their data collections, they're freely available. And I'm just going to go through a couple of examples here of open government data portals. The examples here, there's one from Canada, one from the US, one from the EU, and one from Australia. There's many other national, regional, and thematic portals as well, but these are just some examples which I want to go over. So first of all, Canada. The Government of Canada has an open data portal. Now, we're not talking about marine data here. From a government perspective, we're talking about all types of data. So in this case, in Canada, it's data about services, financials, demographics, maps. And when I just did a search on the Government of Canada's portal, I came up with 244,000 data sets. So when I drilled down a little bit there with the fisheries and oceans of Canada, I found marine data sets. There was 22 data sets belonging to that particular organisation, and they covered things like commercial fishing licenses, tides and currents, voyage planning for the Arctic. Hydrographic Service had a chart index. There was the Argo program in Canada had their data available, and there was a bibliography collection as well. So these were just some data sets that were available through Fisheries and Oceans of Canada. In the US, you've got data.gov, which is managed by the US General Services Administration. And under the 2013 Federal Open Data Policy, all generated government data is required to be made available in open machine readable formats. And when I did a search there currently is over 189,000 data sets. And when I did a search on oceans, there's 55,000 data sets available. So it's quite a lot of data that's government data that's freely available through this portal. The European Union also have an open data portal which provides a single point of access for data for institutions across Europe. And this data is free to use and reuse for both commercial and non-commercial purposes. So this portal provides easy and free access to data. It promotes innovative use and unleash economic potential. That's the aim of the portal. In Australia, we have a similar portal, data.gov.au, which provides access to public data sets from the Australian government. And the main purpose is to encourage public access to and reuse of government data. Geospatial data, which is mapping and things like that, are managed on through a separate portal called National Map. And when I had a look at that, there was 7,000 data sets found. So that's just some examples. Oh, here's another one through NASA. NASA has something called Open NASA, which provides access not only to data, but also to some of their code and some of their APIs. So their data catalog covers aerospace, applied science, earth science, management, operations, and space science. So there's quite a big coverage there. Once again, all this data is freely available for you to access online. So what I want to do now is to do an activity, and I need to just go back to the OceanTeacher website. On this side here, I've got down here, there's activity 1. So let's have a look at this. So what I want you to do is to, this is just looking at open data portals. So I want you to have a look at one of these open data portals. It could be one of the ones that I just mentioned. It could be something, maybe a thematic portal that you know of, or a national portal something you're familiar with. Go and have a look at it, and I want you to, through this portal, go and have a search for data sets that cover ocean biodiversity. So either choose one of the examples that I gave you in the presentation. That was the one from the US or the EU, Canada, Australia. But if you're familiar with something else, with a portal that you know of, have a look at that. So do a search on ocean biodiversity, and then answer these questions. How easy is it to find the data? How many data sets meet your search criteria? Which formats are the data available? How easy it is to download the data? And are there restrictions on the data? Now, if it's a decent portal, all this information will be easily available to you through the metadata. So we'll spend 10 minutes or so, 15 minutes, just go to one of the portals and have a look at that, see if what you can find on marine biodiversity.